I'm here to talk to you today about adjustable elbows, okay? A lot of people get confused on how to adjust adjustable elbows. They get an elbow, say they order an elbow from me and they get 14 to 24 inch elbows. Those can be very, very difficult no matter your skill set on how to adjust. If you don't know how to adjust them, I'm hoping that this video will definitely clear some things up. So, let's talk about the anatomy of the elbow. Now, there's gores on the elbow. The gores on the elbow are these parts right here that are used to connect the elbow itself. Okay? Those are the gores. You got your different sections. Now, if you look at this, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of elbow. Okay? Let me do that a little bit better back here. 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of elbow. Okay? So when we refer to the gores, we're talking about the different parts, okay? So these are the different sections, these are the gores that connect them, and then this is our seam, this is our longitude seam. If you look real close, they're buttoned, they're button punched, or usually spot welded if they're bigger, and so that's our seam. So in order to get this elbow to do what we want, we have to understand the difference of the seam layout. Now, if all of these seams right here are lined up all the way down, we are going to get a straight section, okay? And I'm going to demonstrate on how to get a 90-degree section. So what we're going to do is every other gore, I'm going to flip over and I'm going to mirror the opposite side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this seam of this in this section and I'm going to flip this one to the complete opposite, okay? So now you can slowly see it start taking place, and you kind of look on the inside and you can see that this seam and this second seam are opposite of one another. Okay? Same's going to happen with this one. I'm going to make this seam and this seam opposite of one another. So there it is. And as you can see on the inside, this seam is opposite of this seam. I'm going to complete it. It's like a Rubik's Cube, really. So I'm going to take this seam and I'm going to go opposite. Now, every other seam should line up, just like this. If you can see that, this seam and this seam line up. So now I know that I'm at exactly 90 degrees, and that one's off a little bit. But you can see that seam and that seam and that seam. Okay? We now have a 90-degree elbow. Now let's say that we're doing a 45. This is where it starts getting tricky. Hopefully you understand the seam portion. If not, email me or subscribe to my YouTube and I'll go ahead and answer any questions that you may have. So I'm going to take this 90-degree elbow and I want to make it a 45 because that's what I'm offsetting around, or I need it to be a 45. We can do the same thing, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to make this seam and this seam almost where they're touching, like so. And I'm going to take this next seam and I'm going to line it up with this one. So that seam is now lined up with that one. And then I'm going to take that seam, and am I at a 45? Absolutely not. And this is where you have to get your angle finder and make sure that you're at a 45. But the closer I bring these seams together, this seam and line them up as I go, is the closer that I'm going to get. That's almost a 45. The closer these seams are, the less of the degrees. So opposite is 90 degrees, and as we go closer, we can do a 35. And that's about a 35-degree bend. So now our seams are coming closer together. It's pertinent that these seams right here on either side line up with one another. And once you start getting into the bigger 24-inch elbows, I have a blog post. I'll go ahead and I'll post that in the description below, and there's a few tricks on anything that's over 14 inches. It's going to be difficult to do, and hopefully that'll help you out. If not, email me, comment, and I'll answer any questions that you may have, but hopefully that clears up everything about an adjustable elbow for you.